Okay, forget about yesterday's videos. Or maybe not. Henry Cavill not filming extra Superman scenes for Snyder Cut, even though yesterday it was said that, by the Hollywood Reporter no less, that Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, and Ray Fisher, and not Ezra Miller or Momoa, so it just involved the four of these actors to reprise their roles for new scenes for Snyder Cut, to be shot in October. So, but then he, of course, plays Sherlock Holmes in the Enola Holmes film, or is it a miniseries? I can't remember, for Netflix, and was asked about the Snyder Cut thing. Now, keep in mind, when were these interviews conducted? I don't know. But some of the details, it wasn't that long ago, so I don't know. But he says not shooting anything additional. No, it's all stuff that has been already done. So could you weave out that he's like it's a reshooting of a scene that was meant to be done but wasn't? You just don't know. But it seems like he's shutting it down. No, he's not going to Los Angeles to film new Snyder Cut scenes. And he says Zach's working on what was already done, and he's sitting on the sidelines watching it all happen. Okay, but McGloin, this is Cosmic Book News. So McGloin says it's possible that Henry Cavill does eventually shoot new Superman scenes. It's not good, but Zach is said to be filming those October scenes in Los Angeles, while Henry is currently in London filming Witcher 2. So we can, and of course, COVID protocols, the UK and the US would make it, it complicates matters, of course. Then he does an interview with GQ. They're talking about the extra scenes. He says they're doing their own thing out there, putting the movie together from the footage they shot. I've not been in comms with them about it. Well, again, I don't know. Well, let's just link over there. What was the date on this? Yeah, okay. Well, the 24th of September, so that was yesterday. I would, again, well, when did they actually talk to him? I don't know. So, yeah, I'm not going to go through all this. But, I mean, why would they do that? Now, the theory goes, Hollywood Reporter, that ultimately the article was not about Snyder Cut. It was about getting a hit piece once again on Ray Fisher. And considering that Henry Cavill comes in, yeah, we're not shooting new scenes, or at least he isn't. Then they got that detail wrong, and the others will be there, or it could just be a stunt double is doing a scene, and it's just that. All that stuff could be the case, but it sounds more like the theory is that it was just to hit Ray Fisher over this little war he's got going on with Warner Brothers over the treatment he received and on the Justice League set. And I mean, it doesn't, and I'm back and forth on this and somewhat dubious about it because there are some inconsistencies in the story and all that. But ultimately, a lot of things point to it that it was a nasty time, and just the whole circumstances of Zach leaving and all that. Just it was not a happy gathering, if you will, and all that sort of stuff. But now this comes along, and it's like you could have just done an article on Ray Fisher and say, well, we've got this insider who says, yeah, he explained, and a lot of that sounds credible in it about, it was a tight schedule because that's how Warner Brothers forced it. It's most of the stuff that went on is Warner Brothers' fault more than anyone else, even Joss Whedon. But that it was a stressful reshoot and all that type of stuff going on. And that corresponds to that attitudes are pretty burnt by it all and not happy with what happened. But the idea that there was serious abuse to the point that some sort of penalty has to be put down on the likes of Jeff Johns. I don't know. Well, what could it have been? Was he just an a-hole? Well, he could have been, but I mean, it's Hollywood. I know. So I don't know. I mean, why can't someone spell it out exactly what it was he did? Still don't know that. But that being said, this is a weird set of circumstances for an article to come out and say that, oh yeah, they're going to shoot these new scenes. And maybe Zack Snyder is shooting scenes, but it's not the way they described. But the idea that was not even the main intent, but it was an attempt to throw trash at Ray Fisher, that's weird. When you could have just said it. Says, hey, this insider who worked on the Justice League film said, yeah, things were stressful and tight and all that, but not nearly to the extent that Ray Fisher seems to imply that it was, and that sort of thing. But that's not what they did. And, oh, look, there's going to be they're reuniting the Justice League actors in October and all this, and then here comes Henry Cavill saying, no, we're not. At least I'm not. So, and it stands to reason. He's in London. He's not in Los Angeles. He's in London shooting The Witcher Season 2. But, that doesn't mean he's not available and that he's, and then the timing of these interviews and what Henry plays things very close to the vest. He does, one of the key things about what's the timing of this interview was that he was asked, there was this rumor out that he had already signed a deal for 3 more Superman films, plus, other scenes for other films as Superman. And he just would not talk about it. He says, I'm here to talk about Enola Holmes, So he didn't want to, that's not a denial, but it's one of those things that he kept very quiet over the whole release the Snyder Cut ordeal, And maybe Cavill should run for office later on when he's had enough of acting, because it's all an act anyway. So, but. Of course, he says, I'm not going to talk about that. Let's talk about Enola Holmes. That's what I'm here to promote. But then he's fine with other questions. Yeah, shooting Witcher and all that. So it's like, for whatever reason, the deal is not to be public yet. And Henry Cavill, he plays ball like that. He's not letting it slip. So he's not going to be a source if the companies don't want it. And they said, yeah, we don't want to announce this just yet. And he's going to be okay with that. He's okay. And you're hired to do a role and all of that sort of stuff. And they ask you to promote it at this particular time and keep quiet on it because they're not entirely sure when shooting can begin and what all that sort of stuff not mapped out. So it's easier for them to deal with it before it announced at a time when they're ready for it. And so he's like, yeah, sure, I won't talk about it. And it's understandable in that point. But maybe late October he will be shooting scenes. And it's different. But the idea that it would be thrown together that quickly, I don't know. So it sounds like he's not shooting any new scenes. But it's difficult to say. But it is a strange set of circumstances that if the theory is that this was all about Ray. But you know what? Hollywood's a weird place. These people who work in Hollywood, they do seem to have a multitude of disorders. And so it could be that Ray Fisher's out of his gourd, and so are the people that he's mad at. Because it's again, I keep coming back to this. In my way of thinking, Ray Fisher has already won. The Snyder Cut will be released, and that's it. So we'll see the original story of his character Cyborg and how it was supposed to be. As for at the time there was plans for a Cyborg movie and all this sort of stuff, and he might be a little hurt about the the theatrical version just ruined everything. for him and he's bitter about it. I can understand all that, but this isn't the way to go about it, I don't think. So, but then again, you know, if some really terrible thing happened, then he should speak up about it, and he has, except the details are pretty sketchy. So, there's an investigation, but it's not the right investigation. He will do this. So now he wants another on and on. Don't know. But in a weird way, this looks like this is more in his favor as how this was handled. That Hollywood Reporter was, another hit piece on him. But to use something like this when very quickly, so I said, that's not happening. I don't. And so, well, of course, I don't know what's going on, but it's all very strange and weird how this works out. But we do know we're getting the Snyder Cut, so that's the good news. Still the only good news of 2020. All right, so there we go. Henry Cavill, we'll see what's up with him at some point, but don't ask him because mum's the word when it comes to Cavill.
All right. Thank you for watching and listening. Why not like and subscribe and check out that link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you. You know, hats, mugs, stickers, posters, all that goody stuff. Plus, you can head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book Night Night. Oh, yeah. Plus, you can also catch my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, over at radiomisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on my channel at BitChute. That's the Mr Nailsin channel on BitChute.com.